Good afternoon, friends. You are listening to Full Toss on Radio Dil. Online radiodil.com for iPhone downloads, application known as Radio Dil. You can also listen to us on your regular phones, dialing the number 408-418-5000 for Android phones, application known as Tuned Radio. Phone number in the studio 732-800-1008. Aap sun rahe Radio Dil. Dil se Dil tak. Time in the studio is 2:11. It is February 2nd, 2013. This is your host, Amit. Would like to welcome all the listeners, and above all, Amanat, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Amit. It's a nice, bright, sunny day, but winter is in full swing. Cricket is there all over the world.
In fact, as we were walking in the studio, I was cribbing about the cold today, Amanat.
Yes.
And Amanat very rightly said, it is February, my friend.
One should expect that.
Amanat, things are heating up on the cricketing front, though.
Yes, especially in the subcontinent.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. There's a Women's World Cup going on right now in India.
Yes, started 2 days back.
Then Pakistan and South Africa series started.
Yes, in Johannesburg.
Indeed.
It is a wonderful test match going on.
Also, you have Australia and West Indies.
Yes, the first match happened at Perth.
Correct. Lot to talk about. I also have our This Day in cricket segment. I have some Did You Knows, some of the stats. Not the stats, but, I can combine that with our Did You Knows today, Amarnath.
Okay.
And we do have a jam-packed show in our hands today.
Okay.
There's no surprise. And as I always mention this to our listeners, and again, we don't have a set parameter for this particular show.
We're not scripted. And we'll definitely delve into each of the topics as time permitted, and we'll take it from there. Okay.
And Amanat will start our discussions today with the Women's World Cup.
Go ahead.
That is happening right now. It is such a sad scenario. It is such a sad scenario, Amanat, that these matches are not to be seen anywhere.
And the amount of coverage is fairly limited. I'm very disappointed that way.
I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. But let's see if we can to you on air. Amanat, as I mentioned to you earlier, it is such a sad scenario that the World Cup is happening. And there's not enough coverage.
Okay.
And but here's what we have.
Go ahead.
I'm going to share some of the scorecard with our listeners, and I'll start with the India versus West Indies match.
The first
game that took place at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. And India...
Not Brabant.
Sorry, not the Wankhede, the Brabant Stadium.
Brabant Stadium. Oh, the old stadium.
Yes, indeed, sir.
I grew up with the Brabant Stadium.
I was about to say that. That's your stadium.
Yes, my stadium.
Now, have you seen any matches? Have you seen any...
I've not seen any matches. I've seen a lot of pictures, a lot of television.
It's a great stadium.
Right from the early 60s when I followed cricket, it was Brabant. The name itself sounded so glamorous. Brabant Stadium.
Indeed, sir. And here's how things unfolded for Team India. And again, those of you who are just joining in right now, we are giving a coverage for the Women's World Cup happening in India right now.
Go ahead.
Here's a match between India versus West Indies.
That was the first match.
It was the first match that was played at the Brabant Stadium in Mumbai. India batting first put on a very good total, Amanat, 284. Look at their openers. Amanat. This is incredible. Poonam Raut, 72. And then you have
Kamini.
Tirush Kamini, who scored 100. She was run out.
A century.
A centurion.
It is amazing.
36 for Jhilan Goswami and 36 for Harmanpreet Kaur.
The first wicket partnership was 175 runs.
175 runs, indeed, sir.
I wish our men could repeat this.
This is incredible.
When have you heard of an Indian opening pair putting 175?
This is incredible. 284 in 50 overs.
As usual, the women are showing the way.
Yes. And Amarnath, you know what? There was a talk. I know this is not going to go anywhere, but yes, there was a talk of having a mixed contest also. Women and men's the players together.
Okay.
Playing a tournament.
Yes.
That is still in the talks. I really don't see any light coming out of this matter. But yes, at least somebody has initiated this.
Yes.
But here's a scorecard, and India batting first scored 284 of loss of 6 wickets in 50 overs. 285 that's what's set for the West Indians to chase. And how did the chase start for West Indies? Not so good.
They'll start losing.
They lost their first wicket at the score of 1. That was run out. The opportunity was created by Harmanpreet Kaur. And you're looking at Kashia Knight. She was out at the score of 0. The next victim is Stephanie Taylor. She was bowled by Sharma, caught by Jain at the score of 9. And the next one have Campbell at 21, 11 for Knight, and 39 for Doughton, 18 for Aguilera. Amanath, West Indies bundled out for 179 in 44.3 overs. And here are the leading wicket takers for Team India. You have Niranjana Nagarajan, who took 3 wickets for 52. Then Julan Goswami.
She's a well-known name.
She's a very well-known name. She's taken 2 for 13. And then also 2 wickets for Gauhar Sultana.
I've heard that name as well.
Yes, 2 for 38. And also wicket each for Amita Sharma and also for Rima Malhotra. Overall, it was a pretty good performance by Team India. Right from the get-go.
They dominated.
It was totally a one-sided match.
Yes. See, they put up a good start and maintained it to score 284 runs and started taking wickets in regular intervals, put West Indies on the defensive right from the very beginning when they were down 38 for 3. They kept the pressure on and they took the game to victory.
So Mithali Raj, under her captaincy, India has won their first match. And also there was another interesting matches, Amanath. Here are some of the more matches that I'll bring you. This was a very good match. Sri Lanka versus England.
Last ball.
Last ball. And this is how...
ball sixer.
This is how things unfolded. England, batting first, scored 238 of loss, and they lost 8 wickets, Amanath, in this innings. And I think their middle order really clicked well.
Definitely.
And if you look at the scorecard, you have Knight, Gunn, and Jones. They scored 38, 52, and 41 each. And I'm referring to Heather Knight, Jenny Gunn, and Amy Jones, who's a wicketkeeper. And I think they really helped England get to a total of 238. And this was played at the Brabant Stadium.
They are the defending
champions, yes. 238 at Brabant Stadium. It's a pretty under par score, Amanath.
Well, it appeared so. Yeah.
And but again, all kudos to the English bowlers also. Here comes Sri Lanka. They have a target of 239 to chase in 50 overs, and the chase started pretty well.
The opening partnership was
103 runs partnership. The opening pair put together. And Amanath, now I'm going to mention some names, and I'm kind of guessing if they have some relatives playing in the men's cricket also or not. So here's how things are. Chamari Atapattu, Jangani. Then you have Yashoda Mendes. They both opened the innings for Sri Lanka, 62 and 46 respectively. The third number spot is Shashikala Srivardhane, 34. Down the order, Kaushalya. Ishani Kaushalya, who scored a
56.
A brilliant 56. As a matter of fact, it was Kaushalya's innings that really put Sri Lankans into the hot seat, because if you look at the scorecard, none of them really got above the score of 4.
And 56 she scored in just 41 balls.
Indeed, sir.
The scoring at
5 boundaries and 3 sixes.
136 strike rate is very impressive.
And that really helped Sri Lankans to win this match.
They had to score 1 run of the last ball.
1 run of the last ball.
And they hit a 6.
Yes, indeed.
So, again, what Javed Miandad started...
Yes.
Continues.
Oh, nobody can forget that, Amanath. Nobody can forget that.
Nobody forgets the person who climbs Mount Everest first.
Exactly. Now, here are some of the matches that will be taking place. In fact, you have the Group A match, India versus England.
Next,
again, that's tonight, February 3rd. And also, New Zealand will be facing Pakistan, Amanath, at Cuttack. As I mentioned to you earlier last week also, that all the Pakistan matches will be played in Cuttack.
Yes, and that's a good stadium, Barabati
Stadium. That's a good stadium, and yes, there was a bit of a controversy there as well. As there was a news that came out of Cuttack that the Pakistani team was they were made to stay at the stadium.
Yeah, they've got excellent facilities at the stadium. Security felt that they would be able to provide a much better job maintaining security at the stadium premises as opposed to a hotel. It's not like they were not given shabby accommodation. It is excellent accommodation. The Pakistani team was happy with that. Main thing was it was a security call. Because in a hotel, you have got a lot of people, floating population moving in and out. Whereas in a stadium premises, it's much more tightly controlled.
And here's a quick look at the points table, Amanath, and especially the groups that are set up. Group A is India, Sri Lanka, England, and West Indies. Both India and Sri Lanka have won their matches, and they have both granted 2 points each. India, however, has a 2.1 net run rate. And Group B, New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan, and South Africa. New Zealand and Australia, they have both won their matches. Pakistan has lost their match. Yes. And South Africa has also lost their match. So again, this World Cup has just started and will continue giving coverage to this tournament as well.
One thing which struck me was pretty high-scoring games. I didn't expect the women to be able to score 300 runs.
Yes.
The New Zealand put up a very big score against South Africa, if you look at that total. So they are able to match what the men are doing. So I think...
Or what the men are not doing, because our next topic of discussion is South Africa versus Pakistan.
Oh, that's a different story altogether.
Now, here's how things... Unbelievable, Amarnath. As expected out of the South Africans initially.
I think last week you asked me about South Africa.
Yes, I did.
I said yes and no.
Yes and no. By the way, Tawfiq Umar, as he's ruled out of the series altogether because of injury for Pakistan as a test opener. So here's how things unfolded. This is how things started, and I'll tell you where we are today.
Okay, go ahead.
Day 2 at stumps. Wow, already day 2 at stumps and so many runs have been scored. Unbelievable. Here's how things unfolded.
Many wickets have fallen.
So many wickets have been fallen. South Africans batting first were all out at 253. 24 for Graeme Smith, Alvaro Peterson 20, Hashim Amla 37, Jacques Kallis, half century, 50.
Exactly.
31 for A.B. de Villiers, Duplessis 41, 27 for Elgar. Everybody else bundled out. South Africans bundled out for 253. 4 wickets for Mohammad Hafiz.
He came and mopped up the tail very quickly.
2 wickets for Umar Gul, 2 wickets for Junaid Khan, and a wicket for Yunus Khan.
Yes, surprising.
He bowled 4 overs in there. So, good setup. 253 first innings total. And by the way, this match is being played at the New Wanderers at Johannesburg.
I was very impressed with Misbah-ul Haq's bowling changes.
Amarnath will continue our discussion with South Africa and Pakistan. And as I mentioned earlier, South Africans were bowled out for 253.
First day.
A pretty decent total. I mean, that's not a big total for Pakistanis to really catch on to, but things didn't turn out that way. And this is how the Pakistan innings started. I know you've been following this match. Let me share. I can see the smile on your face. That's
very predictable. Let me
share the scorecard with our listeners, and I'll hand over the mic to you. Mohammad Hafiz, along with Nasir Jamshed, started the innings. As I mentioned earlier, Tawfiq Umar is out of the series because of injury. 6 for Hafiz, Jamshed 2, 13 for Azhar Ali, Yunus Khan 0, Misbah-ul Haq 12, 1 for Asad Shafiq, Sarfaraz Ahmed the wicketkeeper 2, Umar Gul 0, 1 for Saeed Ajmal, Junaid Khan 8, Rahat Ali 0. Pakistan bundled out for 49, 6 for Dale Steyn, Philander 2 for Jacques Kallis. Look at Steyn's figures. 8.1 overs, 6 made in 8 runs, 6 wickets, 0.97. Ridiculous.
It's like gully cricket.
Unbelievable, Amarnath. Unbelievable. Pakistan bundled out for 49.
49, yes.
And now, the second innings, South Africans are 207, loss of 3 wickets, with 27 for Peterson, Graeme Smith 52, 50 for Hashim Amla, and 63 not out is A.B. de Villiers. So day 2 at stumps, South Africa is 207. I hand over the mic to you now.
Today was a very interesting day's play. I got up early to watch the game, thankfully being a Saturday morning, and the parade of wickets falling was unbelievable. It was just... it was predictable that Pakistan batting would be put to the test, but they folded worse than a house of cards. And I think technically all the teams from the subcontinent have been exposed, whether India or Sri Lanka in Australia or Pakistan in South Africa. It is very, very clear that the teams from the subcontinent have major issues in playing the moving ball and also on a fast wicket. And just to roll the tape back, on the first day, when Pakistan bowled very well and bowled out South Africa for 253, Kepler Wessels was the only commentator who said 253 on this wicket is good enough to beat Pakistan. He was not taking a negative view. And in a way, it was an underperformance for South Africa because they were at one stage 200
that's
for
why
4.
I mentioned that. Correct.
They were 200 for 4 and they were all out for 253. And that too, they lost their wickets to Hafiz of all people. Now, today, Pakistan batsmen were fairly poking at every delivery which was coming along. Stein was bowling with his customary hostility.
You believe that de Villiers has taken 6 catches?
Unbelievable.
6 catches for de Villiers.
I have to talk about, and also I saw the South Africa's second innings. I have to mention about 2 umpiring decisions which went to DRS.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Misbah-ul-Haq was declared not out by the umpire for a caught behind. They went for a review. South Africa called for a review. If you look at the DRS system, they showed the hot spot. The hot spot was very, very weak at best. You could hardly discern that white spot or hot spot. And yet, the reviewing umpire, the third umpire, felt it was compelling enough to overturn the decision. That was unbelievable. Misbah-ul-Haq should not have been given not out, especially when the main umpire had given him out and it didn't look compelling. Same thing happened with de Villiers when he was just at 49 to a delivery from Saeed Ajmal. Billy Bowden gave him clearly out as leg before. And it looked plumb. There was nothing, though, in all fairness, de Villiers immediately raised his bat and asked for a review, claiming that he had nicked the ball onto the pad. But if you look at the review, the hot spot didn't show any mark. If you look at the cameras, it looked like a small deviation. But the deviation could have been because of Saeed Ajmal's delivery. It wasn't that conclusive that the ball had nicked the bat and onto the pad. But yet the third umpire, reviewing umpire, overturned the decision. I think there is something wrong with this process. If somebody is going to overturn the decision, the evidence should be overwhelming. Marginal calls should stay with the field umpire.
And sticking to this point that you just made, Amarnath, just yesterday at the ICC meeting, the BCCI President Srinivasan has pretty much told the world to hell with it. If you are going to impose on India as a hosting country that we will use DRS system, India will not participate.
That was to be expected because BCCI, in all their wisdom, has opposed the DRS completely.
But now they have taken a strong stand against the participating nations. Except England, nobody said anything about DRS. And
this was an English proposal. They said that the hosting country has the right to impose a DRS system on all visiting teams if they choose to.
Well, friends, you are listening to Full Toss with Amarnath and Amit on Radio Dil. Amarnath, it is time for us to take a short drinks break. And when we do come back, a lot to discuss.
Okay.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these short messages from our sponsors. Welcome back, friends. As promised, it was indeed a pretty short drinks break. Friends, you are listening to Full Toss with Amit and Amarnath on Radio Dil, online radiodil.com for iPhone downloads. Application known as Radio Dil. Phone number in the studio, 732-800-1008. Once again, that is 732-800-1008. Amarnath, just before the break, we talked about Pakistan and South Africa. Now, I have some did you knows that I brought in for you. And this is a part of, now this is called the lowest totals in Test.
Okay.
And you have 26 was the lowest. New Zealand. That was 1955 against England.
Against England.
30 for South Africa versus England, Port Elizabeth in 1896.
This is by
South Africa.
Versus England.
Versus England. By the way, you talked about the subcontinental teams, Amarnath. The highest number of lowest totals a team has ever achieved the feat is South Africans, 7 times.
They scored
lowest totals.
Okay.
Number 2 comes Australia, 4 times.
Okay.
Then comes England. Then India, Pakistan and West Indies.
So India is not
and Sri Lankans are yet to come on this list, Amarnath.
Very good.
So again, yes, you're right that the subcontinental teams, they do have problems facing the moving ball. But in terms of the lowest totals, They're still at. They're still.
There is some room to.
There's still
fall.
exactly.
Some more room to fall.
But in fact, yes, I'm going to give this list to you, Amarnath. I was pretty shocked to see that South Africans made this list 7 times, the lowest totals.
Okay.
And in fact, in today's total, the 49 is the lowest in the test in terms of the statistics that I put together, and that was by Pakistan in Johannesburg. 47 was Australia in 2011, and just recently at Cape Town, 45, New Zealand were bundled out in South Africa.
See, we are seeing 3 very low scores in the last 2 years.
Indeed, sir.
45, 47 and 49.
In fact, Johannesburg, Cape Town, and then you have 2 in Cape Town, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Same venues. One Australia, another one is New Zealand.
Yes.
So South Africans, yes, they do definitely. See, this is what I like. I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier with you also, Amarnath, during the first, a few weeks back, we talked about it. That, for example, England have, when a visiting team goes and plays in England, they have their own advantage. Then Australians have their own advantage. South Africans have their own advantage. What India failed to do that in past few series is to capitalize on the advantage that India's got on the subcontinental pitches.
Well, there's a changing of the guard.
There's a changing of the guard. I also brought in the point that it becomes very monotonous. I mean, yes, the teams are working on, trying to create pitches, but I guess that's a point for open discussion. We can talk about this all year long. But this is how things unfolded in South Africa, and we still have a lot more. There's plenty of match to be played now. But as far as you're concerned, where you're sitting right now, your predictions for South Africa and Pakistan Test 1.
I think this is a foregone conclusion that South Africa is going to win this test match. They're already 411 runs ahead. Just this day 2. It'll be a matter of time before Smith decides to declare. First of all, congratulations to Graeme Smith. The first captain to captain 100 test matches.
Yes, indeed, sir.
That is a phenomenal feat.
Correct.
I never thought I would live to see the day that a captain would captain 100 test matches. That is really a very remarkable achievement for any captain. And he has led the team with great distinction. And to be captaining the 100th test where they are the world champions, that is something really remarkable. Now, coming to South Africa, Graeme Smith has to decide when he wants to declare. He would like to give his batsmen good batting practice if possible, because he has got 3 full days more to go. And with 400 runs lead, South Africa has got only Elgar, another batsman, to come in. Amla and De Villiers could very well score their centuries. So I would say give it another session and a half tomorrow before Graeme Smith decides to close the books. So he might give a target of 550 runs to Pakistan to score, and I don't see Pakistan able to match that. Pakistan, I would expect, would put up a much better show. Much better show, I expect, in the second innings. The wicket would have worn down a bit. It will not be that. It won't be a 49 affair. They might score, say, 250. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, thank you very much, Amarnath. And before I move on to this day in cricket, here's a did you know relating to the Women's World Cup.
Okay. Oh, I'm very poor there.
There have been 5 different occasions in the Women's World Cup when teams have managed 2 centuries in an innings.
2 centuries?
2 centuries. Not 1, but 2 centuries. England have achieved the feat 3 times.
That's remarkable.
The most recent occurrence was when New Zealand scored 200s in their total of 373 against Pakistan in 2009.
Okay.
So that was our Did You Know for the women's cricket. And Amarnath, now we'll move on to our This Day in Cricket segment.
This Day in Cricket.
This Day in Cricket. And this is going to be interesting. I can see the list right now. February 2nd, 2013.
Okay.
February 2nd, not 2013. February 2nd, 1892. 1892. England versus Australia. Johnny Briggs takes a hat-trick on this day.
Johnny Briggs was an English left-arm bowler.
Yes.
Left-arm bowler. He took about 100 wickets at a very good clip. He played in the 1880s and 1890s.
February 2nd, 1973.
February 2nd,
A debut for a black cap.
Kiwi. Hadlee.
Yes, Richard Hadlee makes his debut against Pakistan at Wellington.
The way you said Kiwi, black cap,
Yes.
73, I just took a chance.
February 2nd, 1988.
February 2nd, 1988.
David Boone's 6th Test cricket century, 184 not out versus England at Sydney.
Yes. See, my knowledge is weak between the time 85 to 95. I was in America, I didn't have the internet, and I was dependent on secondary media to keep in touch. So it dropped off.
Well, again, for next 3 segments I have, do the best you can.
Okay.
February 2nd, 1991.
1991.
Arvind De Silva scores 267.
Against New Zealand?
Yes, at Wellington.
Yes, I read that later on.
And, well, this day, and especially Wellington, has a history.
To score 267 in New Zealand is a remarkable feat.
And yes, exactly. February 2nd, 1992.
1992, India visited Australia around that time.
Seems like, yes, absolutely right. Seems
Sachin
like
scored a brilliant century that time in Perth.
Yes, also, but this particular day, February 2nd, also seems to be lucky for David Boone.
Again,
he scored his 13th Test century.
Okay.
107 versus India at Perth.
Yes, so
You're right about that.
I got my bearings right because of Sachin.
We'll move on to the birthdays now.
Go ahead.
Born February 2nd, 1954.
1954, he played around 79.
He's played 2 tests for Sri Lanka, and that's in 1993. You're looking at Jayanta Amarasinghe.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Born February 2nd, 1961.
61. So from 87, I can expect.
English bowler, he was a pace bowler, Joey Benjamin from 1994.
Bunda played too many matches.
Born February 2nd, 1968.
1968.
Bangladeshi ODI batsman since 1988. Muhammad Aminul Islam Bulbul.
Bulbul. Name is interesting, but doesn't ring a bell.
Born February 2nd, 1969.
1969.
Pakistani cricketer.
Okay.
He played also. He's only played, hasn't played that much also, and he was also involved. He had a pretty interesting stance when he used to come and bat. Ejaz Ahmed.
But this is not the main Ejaz Ahmed.
This is junior.
Junior, okay.
Ejaz Ahmed Junior. Also, 1977, February 2nd, 1977. A Kenyan ODI batsman. Peter, he was also, in fact, he's better known as Ongondo.
Ongondo.
Yeah, Ongondo. Now we move on to the obituaries now.
Okay.
Passed away February 2nd, 1959.
1959, okay.
Okay, he's played 3 tests. He scored 232 runs. Is Frank De Caires.
Of England?
Of England.
Okay.
No, he's a West Indian.
West Indian.
He played against England. Also passed away February 2nd, 1976. English wicketkeeper.
English wicketkeeper.
He's played 3 tests between 1927 and 1934. Is Harry Elliott.
Harry Elliott, H.W. Elliott, I think so.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, you're right.
I remember.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. It is H.W. Elliott.
I read scorecards, so that's what sticks in my mind.
You're absolutely correct on this one.
H.W. Elliott.
Passed away February 2nd, 1979. Australian opener. He committed suicide, by the way.
I don't.
Jim Burke.
Jim Burke.
Yeah,
I remember. He came to India, 1956.
He did come to India, yes.
He scored a century in the Brabant Stadium.
Well, I'm saying yes because I'm reading it.
He scored a century in the Brabant Stadium in 1956. I remember that.
Yes, indeed, sir.
I remember reading it. I don't remember that match, but I remember reading about that.
Also passed away February 2nd, 1983. He's played 7 tests for England, scored 454 runs. Brian Valentine.
Okay.
Well, Amanat, that was our segment This Day in Cricket.
Okay.
And listeners can also log on to our blog, fulltosscricket.com, and they can read about this segment. Also, what did you know is we also have Amanat's fundamental analysis that is on our blog. And I also want to thank our listeners for subscribing us on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
You can log on to YouTube and just type in Full Toss Cricket Talk Show. And you can listen to the broadcast from today. And Amanat, you'll usually post it by tonight or tomorrow. It will have it on our YouTube channel. Listeners can also send us an email here at info@fulltosscricket.com. Phone number in the studios, 732-800-1008. 732-800-1008. Amanat, I'll move on to West Indies and Australia.
Yes. Go ahead.
And let me just go ahead with the first one international that was played at Perth. Yeah, and Australia won this by 9 wickets, by the way.
It was very one-sided, extremely one-sided.
Well, you'll see how it was one-sided. West Indies were bundled out for 70.
7-0, just like
7-0.
Like in test matches, 49 all out.
23.5 overs, Amanath. They were bundled out. The highest scorer for West Indies was Darren Sammy, who scored a 16. Everybody else, single digits.
A meet and greet.
Meet and greet. A brief, very, very brief meet and greet. And look at the wickets for Australians. Mitchell Starc took 5 wickets for 20, 3 wickets for Clint McKay, 2 for Faulkner.
Who's this new kid, Faulkner?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I like about Team Australia, Amanat. They're not afraid of bringing in new talent and giving them a chance. And you know what? Whoever comes in, they perform.
I think since they are a team in transition, they want to try about 30 people and settle down on 10.
I'm really happy with the way Mickey Arthur has been shaping the team, Amanat.
Yes, this Faulkner guy is only 22 years old.
Look when Arthur was with South Africa. Look what he did to South Africa that time also. He brought in so much of new talent. And everybody was given a chance. And whoever performed stuck there to the team. And so 70 West Indians were all out. Here comes Australians, 71 to chase, 51 for Maxwell. With 9 boundaries and 2 sixes. I don't think anybody else had to do anything. Finch was 10 and he was out of 10, and Usman Khwaja finally got his chance to play, Amanat.
Yes.
We talked about Usman Khwaja last year, remember that?
He was brought in against England.
Yes, he was brought in against England in the Ashes. Yes. He gets a chance. I'm very happy for him. I think he's a great talent to watch. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see him play.
Yes, I've seen him play. He's pretty good.
He's very good, and especially at number 3 or number 4 position, he can be very destructive. So that was a scorecard, Amanat. Nothing really to highlight in there. Australians chased the score in just in 9 overs, 9.2 overs.
So I think somebody said West Indies need to start believing in themselves that they can be better than getting all out for 70. I'm sure people like Vivian Richards and Greenidge and Lloyd are not would be dreading to see the day when West Indies gets all out for 70. Their stomachs must be churning. Like how, as Indians, we find it so difficult, Indian batting collapsing in the recent past. I'm sure the same thing is happening for the West Indies. But I'm hopeful that they will find their the players and the discipline to score runs.
The second one international, Australia versus West Indies, will be played again. Once again, it's at Perth today. Tonight, in fact.
Tonight.
And the third one international will be played on February 6th. Fourth will be played on February 8th. And the fifth and the last one international, Australia versus West Indies, will be on February the 10th.
Yes.
So this is the venue for Australia and West Indies. Amanat, things are also heating up on the IPL front. By the way, friends, you are listening to Full Toss. This is your host, Amit, along with Amanat. Time in the studio is 2:51. We'll turn our attention to IPL, Amanat.
Go ahead.
Already, now tomorrow is going to be the auction. Actually, on the 6th, February 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
February 6th, so coming week.
But already Harbhajan Singh has resigned from the captaincy of the Mumbai Indians, and Tendulkar is back again. And yeah, there were a lot of eyebrows left on that issue also, Amanat. Not sure if you had a chance to read something about IPL, but yes, Harbhajan Singh's captaincy was discussed even when he was playing the Ranji Trophy matches that time.
Well, finally, what do you say? Harbhajan at least won the Champions Trophy for Mumbai Indians. So one trophy he can definitely boast that he managed to deliver.
By the way, before I don't mean to veer off the topic here, but Mumbai won their 40th Ranji Trophy title.
They won it in grand style.
Absolutely right. And the captain Ajit Agarkar was nothing but all smiles.
Yes.
Between him and Dhaval Kulkarni, they wrapped up Saurashtra
yes, but the new boy Thare. Aditya Thare. He's good.
Yes. He's a wicketkeeper.
If you're talking about the future, wicket-keeping, with the Dhoni at some point has to retire.
Correct.
So you have to build the next set. So if we want a good wicket-keeper batsman, they have to build in people like Thare and others, give them the chance.
Yes, and also Dhabolkar played a pretty crucial innings, keeping one end tight. On the other end, Agarkar. Well, in the second innings, it was only Agarkar and Dhaval Kulkarni who wrapped up Saurashtra's innings pretty comfortably.
I wish they send the Ranji Trophy champions and the runners-up on a tour to South Africa, on a tour to England and Australia. Make them play the matches.
Skanda also made this point, I believe, a few weeks back when he was on air with us.
Send these top teams, because they have gelled as a team, having played a lot of matches.
I guess I'm also referring to the India A teams. Give them, promote them, send them to these countries.
Send either the A team or send the Bombay team itself. Let there be a lollipop, an incentive that you do well for Bombay, you'll get a foreign trip and play in foreign pitches. Otherwise, you're not going to get people like Tare and others a chance and an opportunity to play in Cape Town. They should find a way and give the same opportunity to the winners of the Sheffield Shield or the Currie Cup for them to visit India. I think it should go both ways. There has to be a way of each team becoming familiar with the others' grounds.
Also, coming back to IPL, Amanat, John Wright has been named as Mumbai coach, Indians coach.
That's going to be interesting.
Yes, and it was Sean Pollock. Remember that?
Yes.
And also Anil Kumble has joined.
As a mentor.
As a mentor.
I was very surprised with that.
Even I was a little surprised myself when I heard that.
I think Sachin must have told the owners that Kumble would be vital.
Robin Singh will remain with the franchise. He will continue his stint with Mumbai Indians. Also, Paddy Upton has been appointed as Rajasthan Royals head coach.
Paddy Upton, okay.
I remember him with his days with Team India. And Michael Clarke and Ricky Ponting are the hottest auctioneers
I can understand,
in this year's IPL.
I can understand people like Michael Clarke being... Why is Ponting viewed so high? He's not a 2020 player in the first place. He's not so I'll be very surprised if he goes...
They have a reserve price of $400,000 apiece.
I can understand in fact, Clarke should go for a higher price than 400,000. But Ponting 400,000, the only reason why he might get that price is he's not playing any more test cricket or one-day matches. So he's available for all the 14 or 16 games. He'll be available for all the matches. Mm-hmm. So that is the only reason why I would say. But 400,000, I would be not willing to spend so much if I was the general manager.
Well, Amanat will definitely have more coverage. By the way, April 3rd is when IPL begins.
It'll be very interesting.
And this time, the opening match will be between the KKR, the Kolkata Knight Riders, versus the Daredevils at Kolkata.
They are the defending champions.
They are the defending champions. So, again, April 3rd is when the IPL starts. So before that, it's Australia and India. In India.
Yes.
So in coming weeks, we have plenty to talk about India and Australia. And we'll continue to give coverage to the Women's Cricket World Cup as well. And we have South Africa, Pakistan, Australia, and West Indies. And also England will be facing New Zealand.
They have a very interesting series, home and home.
Amanat, unfortunately, that's all the time we had left for today. Friends, you were listening to Full Toss. This is your host, Amit, along with Amanat on Radio Dil. Online, it's a free website, radiodil.com. For iPhone downloads, application known as Radio Dil, and for your Android phones, application is Tune Radio. And you can also catch our broadcast, the recordings of the broadcast on our YouTube channel. That is, you can just type in Full Toss Cricket Radio Show, and you can listen to the show. And what Amanat does there, he has a timeline also set in, which I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Yes, you can position yourself appropriately.
So definitely log on to, just go on YouTube, type in Full Toss Cricket Radio Show, and you can listen to the show.
You can, not only that, you can subscribe to the channel so that you get periodic updates.
And listeners can also join our blog, fulltosscricket.com. And that's where you find Amanat's fundamental analysis. You have the Did You Knows. You have this cricket segments. There's a lot of reading material. I like your blog, Amanat. I think it has, I get a chance to listen to you, talk to you about the fundamental analysis. But once I go home, I actually do read that on your blog.
And also, I have other widgets which give you the latest cricket information across several media outlets.
Well, friends, I want to thank you for your continuous support and your appreciation for our show. It really means a lot to us. So thank you so much for staying with us and giving us your support for so long. Above all, Amanat, I want to thank you for your contribution, your expertise, your knowledge you bring to this table. It makes it much more interesting.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure and privilege to be here.
We'll be back here next Saturday afternoon, 2 to 3. Till then, everybody have a fantastic weekend. And it's a Super Bowl weekend, Amarnath.
Yes.
So have a fantastic weekend.